I am the Hummer, and I know many things, for I walk by night. Look closely at every dark corner. Murder lurks in the shadows. Death is waiting for you.
Off air, network news and NFL scores, kids. I'll give you 2 minutes when we're coming back on the air.
DiMaggio, I want to word with you, and I mean now.
In the booth, Terrier. I gotta queue up a Soupy Sudsy commercial in a few minutes.
Hey, Java Jerk, how about some Joe?
Oh. I got it. I forgot it. He got it. He forgot it. We forgot it. Forget it. He said it. Just forget it.
Man, does that suck or what?
Sounds like Milo and Musso are doing their imitation of a flushing toilet.
As soon as they found out that this crummy series was canceled, they decided to work on a duet and tour the county fair circuit. They open in Bakersfield next October. They say they're going to audition for America's Got Talent. Some joke.
Man, what a break. Just when I was starting to make some do-re-mi in this racket.
Makeup. We've got 5 minutes.
Hey, Lance in the Pants, this is radio. You don't need to look pretty.
Says you.
Yeah, says me, and says Pete, and repeat.
You know what I'm saying?
What a player.
You know it, baby.
A player. Listen, Clarence Rorschach, you ain't got the talent to be a doorstop.
Yeah, and Madonna kisses women.
And that goes for you too, Terrier.
Me? I don't kiss women. No, I mean, I got more talent than a doorstop, and I'm going to save this show.
And just when I was about to pay off my implants, Lance has to screw up.
It's not my fault.
Not your fault. Yeah, and Hulk Hogan wears pink pantyhose. Your last 5 scripts were bombs.
Kaboom!
Kaboom!
But let me explain. I've got a plan to...
Representing Sound Effects Union 341, me, Pete, and Repeat want to express our distinct disappointment in this whole mess.
What he said.
Yep.
Yeah.
Look, kids, hey, quiet down, listen. It doesn't make any difference whether the show gets wasted tomorrow or not. We've got a show to do today and in 5 minutes. So get your butts into gear and come on.
What?
That's what I've been trying to tell you. We're going to be locked in the studio. Hey, what are you doing? Stop that. Don't you know what that does to these RCA 45s? These are the best vibrating ribbon mics in the business. Don't you know that there's a poor little metal ribbon vibrating so hard in there that it's about to splinter? Hey, Java Jerk, what you wearing a mask for? Anyways, these mics...
Forget the BS about the mics, Terrier. Tell us what this locked up crap means.
I've hired workmen to install a time lock on the metal doors to the studio, and the doors won't open again till after midnight.
Boy, this script must really stink if he has to lock us in to perform it.
Yeah, he's got a point.
Yeah.
No, kids, you've got it wrong. I'm not locking us in. I'm locking the police out. Thank you, Elsinore.
Listen here, Lance in the pants. If you don't open that door right now, I'm going to smack you from here to the infomercials.
As you
please
should.
do.
As you should.
Fight.
Me and the boys will not put up with this kind of employee abuse. We're calling a strike.
Did you forget, Terrier, that the John is outside the studio? What if I got a call from nature? Then you better hang up your cell phone, Leaky, because I ain't work with the guy who can't hold his beer.
Yeah, honestly, you've got a point.
Right.
Will you all just shut up? I'm trying to break some important news to you, and I haven't got much time.
You are such an idiot. Okay, Mr. Network Anchor, what's your breaking news? Did Brian Jennings get caught telling the truth?
Tonight, I have a new script. Throw away your old ones. After tonight, MTV will be beating down our door to interview us. Jimmy Fallon will be making jokes about us on his show. Oprah will be telling the world that we're perverts. And why? Why will all of this happen?
Terrier, you're cracked.
Yes, cracked, but not me. I, Lancelot Terrier, the voice of the Hummer, have cracked the most vicious serial murder case in the history of San Francisco.
You don't mean.
He couldn't mean.
Do you mean?
Do you mean?
Yes, I have solved the case of the Lead Rings murders.
Terrier, I'm only going to say this once. Call the cops and then unlock that door right now.
Oh, God!
Yeah, let's get him.
Ah.
No, don't you see? Don't you get it? Where's your imagination? We're going to crack the case right here on the air, tonight, right in front of the public, right in front of the police.
And right in front of the murderer.
What?
Wait,
That's right, Clark. Right in front of the murderer. Yes, we'll tell that creep that we know who he is. I, Lancelot Terrier, will reveal his name to 250 million listeners.
You're demented. We don't have 250 million people listening to this crapola. The last ratings gave us an audience of slightly larger than a Pee Wee Herman fan club.
Maybe that's true for now, but wait until after the first commercial break when the world knows that we know what only the Lead Rings killer knows. They'll be throwing their TVs in a garbage can, tuning into us. To us.
You're cracked. The cops aren't gonna let us get away with that.
How are they going to stop us? We're locked in on the 10th floor. Kids, just think of it. We're inventing reality radio. We'll all be famous.
This is nuts. I don't know about all of you guys, but I don't want to go to jail for withholding evidence and obstruction of justice. And I certainly don't want to draw a target on my back for some whacked out serial killer who wants to waste witnesses. I say we do the last show as planned, say aloha to this radio gig, and all get back to good jobs on TV. I hear Naked in a Fight is looking for anybody with a death wish.
Yep.
yeah, I don't want to risk anything.
So it has come to this. Gratitude? This is the thanks I get for lifting this motley crew of no talents out of the dregs of daytime soap operas into the brilliant spotlight of network fame.
Here it comes, folks. The big remember what I've done for you pitch.
Listen to her. Organa Creole, you were nothing but an Ozzy Osbourne groupie, biting the heads off pigeons when I found you.
Look, the feathers gave me sneezing fits.
And you, Milo Michelle, what were you before I turned you into a star?
Don't say it, Terrier.
A pooper scooper on Animal Planet.
Damn you, Terrier.
And you, Virginia Floydoy, a professional loser on Wheel of Fortune. And you, Rare Shot, the Homer Simpson belch.
Can it, Terrier?
And you, Clark DiMaggio, the unkindest cut of all. What were you? Directing info commercials for DIY hair implants?
Hey, that was a good gig. Even Ben Affleck bought our kit.
And now, when I need you the most, you freeze me out. I can't believe it.
Believe it, Terrier. We're doing the original show. Come on, everybody. Hustle to it. I've got to do a mic check before airtime.
Sound effects is still on strike.
Sweet. We'll do the show without you. Trust me, rare shot. Fingernail scraping a blackboard would sound better than you guys.
Look, Rorschach, I don't feel that way. I think your work is the soul of the show. Please do our new script.
On strike.
Check. Double check.
Triple check.
Triple check.
Coffee. All right. I've appealed to your sense of professionalism. I have appealed to your sense of loyalty. I have appealed to your sense of professionalism. Now I lay it on the line. Cash. For every one of you greedy guts who'll do my new script, I'll give you $10. What do you say?
15 seconds.
All right. $20. What do you say?
5 seconds.
$25.
3, 2, 1. Network.
$30. It is 8:59 Rolex watch time, and now for a late breaking news story. Gang, please, $40. President Concordia Bastaro, while attending a state dinner at the White House honoring the current Super Bowl champions, the Houston Texans, was quoted as saying, "I've always been a big fan of Texans," whereupon her nose grew 3 inches longer. Please, I can't afford to pay you anymore. You gotta do it. And now for a program reminder, I'm begging you. Tomorrow at 6 p.m. on this radio network, it's the Bill O'Reilly Show. Bill will be discussing the shocking revelation that many of the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders are high school dropouts.
Hey, Virginia, that's a job you qualify for.
What can I do to make you read the new script? And now, stay tuned. Coming up next, another mysterious adventure starring Lancelot Terrier as the Hummer.
On air in 10 seconds, people.
Okay, my final offer. $50 and I'll have to hawk my Galaxy 7. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Hummer. I am the Hummer. I know many things, for I walk by night. Be careful. Murder lurks around every corner. Around
I did it
every
wrong.
corner. Ladies and gentlemen, do not, under any circumstance, leave your radio set. This show will depart from its usual format to bring you the most startling true-life adventure ever heard on radio. Tonight, the American Mystery Network, Signal Gasoline, and I, Lancelot Terrier, have conspired to bring you the greatest radio spectacular ever aired. Tonight, in a special script prepared by yours truly, Lancelot Terrier, the Hummer, we will reveal to you, the national radio audience, the solution to the most infamous chain of serial murders in the history of police annals. The Lead Rings Murders. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, at the conclusion of tonight's show, you, the police, and the unfortunate murdered victims will know the name of the Lead Rings Murderer. So sit back, turn off your radio, and prepare for murder. A dark, heavy rain settles over the city as Lieutenant Max Mattox walks slowly down Fillmore Street. Your mind is racing, Mattox. Your mind is racing. Your mind is racing, Lieutenant Mattox. Your body is weary. You've had no sleep for 3 days. The Lead Rings murderer has claimed his 10th victim at Playland by the beach. For nearly a year, you've searched the city for this homicidal maniac, but each time, Mattox, like the ever-present fog, he has dissolved, vanished. You can't sleep, you can't eat, and you can't bathe. You can't do your laundry. People can't stand to be around you. The nightmare follows you wherever you go. Who is the Lead Rings murderer, and where will he strike next? From an alley, a sinister shadow steps out. You freeze.
Got a light, buddy?
You reach into the left pocket of your trench coat and pull out a box of matches. You strike the match with your thumbnail. As the match blazes, you gaze into the scarred face of a tortured wino. He's fumbling with the cellophane on a pack of cheap cigarettes. Finally, with a trembling hand, he guides the lighted match to the end of the tobacco and inhales deeply.
You, Lieutenant Mattox.
Mattox! Parker Pony Pete.
On the nose, Copper.
Parker Pony Pete had once been one of the top jockeys in the business. But about 10 years ago, he got caught doping up a nag at Bay Meadows. Ever since he got out of the joint, he's been homeless. And worse.
I got it all set up for you, Mattox.
Mattox. His name is Mattox.
Mattox, your name is Mattox.
I know what my name is, okay? Now, what's the scam?
First, the Missoula.
50.
Make it a honeybee.
The little creep was holding me up for $100. I had an urge to crush his jaw with a well-placed uppercut, but time and experience have taught me a couple of things. Never suck a sucker until he spilled his guts. I decided to slip him the cash. He grinned a rotten, toothy smile, and shuffled out into the rain. I followed. We turned down a sleazy alley off Eddie Street. From somewhere, a garbage can fell to the slime-covered sidewalk. A mangy tomcat screamed his challenge to the concrete jungle. At last, Pete approached the door at the end of the alley. A dim flickering light proclaimed a muted sign. Louis' Lowball Parlor. Pete shoved the door open. A blaze of yellowish light, clouds of stale smoke, and the smell of cheap booze rushed out at us. From a tinny stereo, the lonely wail of Frank Sinatra love song slopped over pairs of slowly belly-rubbing dancing bar girls and sailors on leave. America's finest looking for trouble at $20 a dance. As I stepped into the dive, I could see that the place was packed with a variety of citizens.
Can I get a double here? Can
They were lined up at the bar, seated at the low-ball poker tables, or talking quietly in the dark, musty corners of his refuge for the scum of the city. Pete immediately rushed to the bar and bought a bottle of cheap booze. Poor lonely soul seeking salvation at the bottom of a bottle.
Hi, Toots. Want to have a good time?
A seedy woman, reeking of cheap booze and lilac powder, pushed her well-worn body up against me and slid her bony fingers inside my breast pocket in an effort to seem friendly. But what I needed now was info, and plenty of it.
Good enough for a good time? I can sure show you a good time, honey.
Get lost, Madonna.
Come on, sweetie, let a gal learn to live in.
With a good right cross, I put her down like the Olympics drop locked. Suddenly, I noticed I was the center of attention, and somehow I didn't think these citizens were concerned social workers.
Come on, stupid, you want to start a riot in here?
I reached behind my hip and fingered my 8-shot enforcer, just in case. I always come prepared. Pete hustled me over to a door behind the bar. He knocked twice, which loosened large scab-like pieces of paint that slid lazily to the floor.
Hey, Rosie, open the door.
The door opened a crack.
Make tracks, Stinky.
I got a pal here who needs to talk to Nick.
A hard-looking broad with bleached blonde hair gave me the once-over.
Hey, Nick, you expecting trouble?
Here, show the jerks in.
The broad opened the door wider, and I muscled my way into a dark room only lit by a naked bulb hanging from an exposed power cord. It gave off kind of a yellowish glow, illuminating 5 notorious citizens crouched around a green felt card table. As soon as I walked into the room, one of the thugs fingered his iPhone and was about to punch a button. Hold it, slimeball. Punch that cell, and you will have more trouble than Al Gore at Weight Watchers meeting.
Hey, what you talking? Snake Eyes was probably just putting in a call to his dearly beloved mama, right, Snake? We just having a friendly little game of lowball. Ain't no need for rough stuff, right?
Through Pete, I had arranged to meet with a citizen named Nick the Pig, a former orthodontist. Gone bad.
Boy, some manners you've got, Nikki. Why don't you introduce me? He's got a fascinating trench coat.
The sleazy broad giggled and 3 cockroaches came out of the trash, looking for Mama. Mattox, Max, Mattox, SFPD.
Gosh, that's a funny way to spell Mattox.
Sit down, Meat-Axe. What? Why do you keep calling him Meat-Axe? Because that's the way you typed it. Terrier, look.
Let me introduce you to the boys. Fats Goldberg from Cleveland. Snake Eyes Willie from Detroit. Beanie the Embalmer from Atlanta.
Keep me in mind if you get wasted.
And Leo the Limey from Boston.
Right, mate.
5 of the most notorious felons in the country. Putting these thugs on ice would lower the national crime rate enough to get me elected president. But I had bigger fish to fry.
Okay, so we're all nice and friendly. What's on your mind, Fuzz? And by the way, you got nice teeth.
Thanks. I try to floss every meal.
It shows.
The Lettrings murderer. I want him.
So go ask Santa.
Look, Nick, I ain't fooling around. I want the creep.
So? Makes you think I'm gonna help you.
I was beginning to get mad. Pretty soon, Mr. Brainhead here was gonna get in big trouble, and that's spelled Mattox. And that spells Mattox.
Besides, his MO ain't professional, you know? Planting them stupid merry-go-round rings on all the stiffs, I mean, it ain't classy.
Nick, you know every hit that goes down on the West Coast now. Now, I want to know about the Lettrings murderer.
You deaf? I just told you I know nothing.
All of a sudden, I lost my temper. Big time. I reached down, grabbed the table, and flipped it over. Quick as a snake's tongue, I pulled out my heater, cocked it, and shoved it right into Nick's face.
Hey, you creep, this is police brutality. I'm gonna sue.
Sing like a birdie, you rat.
It's gotta be some independent. I don't know, some loony.
You could be the killer, Nick. You could be the killer.
What? Me? All the murders took place at Playland at the beach. Do I look like the kind of guy who'd snuff hard targets at Playland?
10 murders, Nick. 1 choked to death in the video arcade. 1 stabbed to death in the guts and found strapped to the last seat in a roller coaster. 1 gunned down in a passport photo booth. 1 found with his wrist slashed in a skee ball alley. 1 drowned in the pink lemonade concession stand. 1 clubbed to death with a stuffed doll in the image of Simon Cowell. 1 squashed to death by a bumper car. 1 goosed to death on an electric pogo stick. And 1 found with his mouth strapped to the cotton candy machine. I tell you, it was an ugly and sticky sight. 10 murders, Nick. Who did them?
Now, I ain't no mathematician, but that was only 9 murders.
I stared at Nick, his fingers tightening around the trigger of my .38 caliber persuader. I pulled back the hammer and started to...
But you won't kill him, Lieutenant Mattox. That won't solve your problem. These gangsters are just as dumb as you are.
I relaxed my grip and let the creep up.
Thanks for the fun and games, big shot. Drop in any time and don't forget to rinse with plaques.
Nick got up and began shuffling the cards again. I started to fascinate the premises.
Hey, Mattox, what about a tip? Didn't I set you up, right?
I looked hard at Pete. He smiled at me. A broken tooth. Nicotine stained. Whiskey-soaked smile. A whiskey-soaked smile. A tip? Okay, loser, here's my tip. Quit smoking, it's ruining your good looks.
That's the tip? You're a cheap SOB, Mattox. And one day you'll get yours. That's right, Mattox. And I'll be praying for it. You hear me, Mattox? And it's gonna come sooner than you...
I left Pete squawking like a crazed parrot. I made my way back into the bar. A fat stripper was shaking her booty on a small stage in the corner of the bar.
Woo!
Sheesh.
Yeah!
Suddenly the broad I attacked earlier came running up, followed by 3 goons.
That's the bomb already! He clipped me right here on the beezer for no good reason at all.
Before I knew what hit me, 3 guys began beating the crap out of me. I woke up just as the broad was swinging a yoga bottle at my head. When I came to, I was lying in the gutter on Eddy Street. A trickle of sewer water was flowing into the guts on my bruised and bleeding face. In the gutter, if I didn't get the Lead Rings murderer soon, I'd be watching my career run down that same gutter.
3 a.m. in the city. The fog is starting to roll in off the bay. The city is quiet. Playland at the beach is empty. Almost.
No, stay away. What's the matter with you? Put down that crowbar. Put it down. Listen, I'll give you anything. Anything. No, no. I'm just the night watchwoman. That's all. No, no.
It'll do her no good to beg. The Lead Rings murderer is a relentless avenger.
Put down the knife. No.
Pull those people back. They're messing up the crime scene.
It was awful, terrible. I think I'm going to get sick to my stomach.
Hey, what's going on? That's not in the script.
Take it easy, lady. I just had this shoes shined.
Does he have to lie there with all that bloody sheet over him?
We've got the meat wagon coming.
What?
I mean, the ambulance. We've got the ambulance coming. The skirt was hysterical. She couldn't stop crying. Come on, lady. Get a hold of yourself.
I just want to take my little girl home. That's all. All those people are making me nervous.
The 11th murderer had drawn a good-sized crowd. The usual group of vampires getting their kicks by feeding off the misery of others. Newshounds, rubberneckers, high school math teachers. Come on, lady. I ain't got all day.
Well, it was early, maybe 10 o'clock, and me and my little Loretta started to get on the Ferris wheel.
The lady's brat was sitting on an orange crate cracking her knuckles. She had big knuckles. Go on, lady.
Well, we decided to ride in a blue car, so we bought the tickets. It cost $5 a ride. Don't you think that is really expensive just to go?
Yeah, expensive. Then what happened?
We climbed into the blue car.
I want a hot dog! Mommy, I'm hungry.
In a minute, sweetheart.
No, not in a minute. Now!
Keep your trap shut, Loretta. Sweetie, Mommy's talking to the nice policeman.
He looks like a bomb.
And we started to go around and round, and all of a sudden I felt something wet on the top of my head.
What?
Wet, like spit. I thought it was some rude boys being nasty. Sometimes Loretta brings that out in them. So I yelled up to somebody in a yellow car, "Hey, you can't stop being rude." And then it happened. It was awful, terrible. I think I'm gonna be sick again.
When Mommy turned her face up to cuss out the nasty boys, they spit again. Only it wasn't spit. It was a big red drop of blood, and it hit Mommy right in the face.
Oh no.
And That's not all, but I ain't talking till I get a hot dog.
The dame passed out on the queue as the little brat was spilling her guts to the reporters for a corn dog. We took the stiff down to the county morgue where old Doc Gillespie started giving the dearly departed a workup. I was praying as hard as I could that the old butcher would come up with some answers.
Let me see. Female? Yes, female. About 35 years of age. Suffering from an advanced case of death. Okay, let's get started.
The dog grabbed a mean-looking saw and got to work. The dog turned off his saw and began rummaging around the guy's throat.
Look, a lettering. You got a lettering murder here, Mattox, that's for sure. Say, could you hand me that?
What do you want, dog? The knife? The microscope?
No, the mayonnaise. And give me that sack too. It's my lunch. I like to eat when I work. Murders always give me an urge for bologna sandwiches. Suicides provoke a yearn for chocolate kisses.
Dog, how did the stiff buy it?
Well, look for yourself. It's pretty obvious.
The dog rolled the chump over. There in the back of his head was a crowbar sticking out of the back of his ear. Any clues who might have done it?
Nope. Just lead ring and a crowbar. You can check them for fingerprints, but it's my guess you won't find a thing. Oops. Except for a little baloney. Sorry about that.
I stood there in the dark, cold morgue. There was a smell of formaldehyd mixed with mayonnaise. A shaft of gray light filtered its way through the dusty bottles of chemicals lining the walls. I watched the dog continue the autopsy and his sandwich. Sometimes I wonder why I'm a cop.
Slowly, Lieutenant Mattox, you reach over to the operating table and pick up the small round symbol of death. The lead ring. The valueless reward for going round and round on the merry-go-round. Where will the murderer strike next? And more importantly, who will be his next victim? Maybe you. Stay tuned to your radios, ladies and gentlemen. We remind you that at the end of tonight's broadcast, the name of the infamous Lead Rings murderer will be revealed. And now, a word from our sponsor, Signal Gasoline.
Is your fuel indicator dipping towards E? That may be your signal. Signal to fill up your car at Signal Gasoline. Premium fuel and quality service at every Signal Gasoline gas station. This ad is your signal. Signal to fill on up at Signal Gasoline.
Gasoline, gasoline, get your gas at gasoline.
Signal Gasoline is not responsible for your ability to find or not find gasoline. Sold wherever you can find gasoline.
We're all fair.
That was terrible. You call yourselves radio actors? You can't read black and white. And what's with this meat axe stuff? And you rear shot? Can't you control these sound techies? Organa, why are you ad-libbing all that stuff about not feeling well? Just stick to the script.
If I have to play another bimbo on the radio, I'm going to start playing them on the street.
God, I feel rotten. I can't even seem to catch my breath. I gotta get some coffee.
This is great. It's genius. Terrier, I've got to hand it to you. This is the greatest gimmick for keeping a show on the air I've ever heard. The phone's ringing off the hook in there. Could you hear it? And the police have called 6 times. The National Enquirer has called 10 times. CNN wants to hire you. The Civil Liberties Union wants to represent you. Yeah, what? Who? Lance. I got Howard Stone on the cell. He wants to do a live feed from the studio.
Come on, do it.
Yeah, do it. Come on.
What are you doing? Are you nuts?
Everybody, shut up. Shut up. The show's not over yet. Trust me, after the next segment, you can all write your weight and option contracts. But we can't keep making stupid mistakes. Hey, Rare Shot, what happened to Pete? He's lying on the floor while I'm screaming at him.
What's the matter with him? What's the matter with you? If Pete wants to take his commercial break on the floor, he can. He's union. Hey, Pete, get off the floor or else someone's going to hand you a script and make you an actor. Pete? Hey, Pete? Hey, DiMaggio, I think Pete's dead.
What? No, he can't be.
Huh?
Yeah, he's stone dead.
Oh, no, I gotta get out of here.
Come, people, let's not panic. Listen, all right? Somebody dies all the time in this business. I mean, pressure, yes, pressure on the heart. Simple, clear-cut case of heart attack, that's all.
Man, this sucks. We have to be on the air in 1 minute. I vote we put an end to this thing right now.
That's a good idea.
I don't know,
I
but
agree with that.
okay.
No, we can't. Please, we've got the audience eating out of the palm of our hand. We can't quit now. When we finish this, you'll all be famous. DiMaggio, you'll be on Dancing with the Stars. Just stick with me.
This is stupid. Terrier, there's a stiff in the studio. We can't work with a corpse in here. It's not sanitary.
All right, a deal. A deal. We can make a deal. All right, let's just move the body into the back room, and as soon as the show is over, I'll explain everything to the police. All right?
Okay, Terrier, the union will play ball, but if we do the show, the sound crew gets more money.
More money? Why?
The union contract calls for a minimum of 3 sound techs on every show, and we're 1 short. Now, I want to pay for 4 to split with 2. Deal? You better say yes or I drop my end right now.
Okay, sure, okay. But you only get part of the raise because Pete lived through the first commercial break. Come on, Rare Shot, cut me some slack.
Full pay, or the only sound effect you're going to get is the sound of this show going down the drain.
Okay, full pay. Come on.
That's what I thought.
10 seconds to air.
What's this? A lead ring.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the reality performance of the Lead Rings Murders. Remember, at the conclusion of tonight's broadcast, I, Lancelot Terrier, the Hummer, will reveal the name of the real Lead Rings murderer. Whoever that may be. So, Lieutenant Mattox, all the city waits for you to do your job. A hunter who hunts a savage murderer on the lonely jungle streets of the city. As you wait patiently in your downtown office at police headquarters for some small clue that'll break the case, far across the city, an ominous figure strides across the beach toward Playland. Suddenly, he comes to a stop. His brown hair swirling gently in the wind, he stares at the mass of buildings that make up the once joyous playpen for the suave San Francisco urbanites. The figure stares with soft brown eyes that suddenly narrow into a frown. His left hand slides gently into his overall pockets and slips around tiny hoops of lead, tiny hoops of death.
It was 3 a.m. It was raining in the city. Drops were coming down like bombs going off in Baghdad. Over on Market Street, I could see the lights blinking on at the current announcing yet another production of Oklahoma. I stepped on the radio and settled back in my leather swivel chair. Slowly, the voice of Dr. Phil filled the room. Some broad was crying her eyes out because she didn't have an organdy dress for a Lions Club dance. I felt an urge to smack the bread in the mouth. Suddenly, the phone rang. I answered the phone. Yeah? Lieutenant Maddox here. Oh, I was on the wrong phone. So I reached for another one. Yeah? This is Mattox.
Medax?
Yeah. What do you want?
Listen, police boy, I gotta talk fast, get me?
Spill your guts, motor mouth.
I got important info on the Lead Rings murderer.
The voice on the other end was harsh, scared, and foreign. What's your handle, Fink?
Never mind that, Medax. Look, I'm in the fun house at Playland. How fast can you hustle down here? And I mean put the pedal to the metal.
20 minutes if there's no traffic. If there's traffic, then maybe 25, but maybe I can cut over to slowed off 19. Then maybe I can make it in 15, but...
Can it just get your keister out here now?
Hello? Hello? Oh, nuts. The creep hung up on me. Again! He hung up. Again! I grabbed my head and checked my heater. A pound and half a seal of persuasion. I felt its weight. It felt good. I slipped my little pal into my shoulder holster. For all I know, I had just been talking to the Lead Rings murderer himself. Gary was jammed, but I managed to merge my black classic 67 Mustang that I had bought for practically nothing from Smiling Jack Chan, San Francisco's own Fordman. It was still a big waste of money. Next time, I would buy a Toyota. In a few minutes, I was pulling up to the entrance of Playland by the beach. I got out of the car. The wind was blowing hard. I could see the waves of the ocean smashing against the rocks on Seal Rock. White-capped breakers trying to crush this little animal island to powder. The lights of the cliff house were shining through torrents of rain. I turned and started walking towards Playland. I flashed my ID to the cop at the gate and made my way down the deserted avenues of what once was filled with crowded video arcades, cotton candy booths, skee-ball alleys, all waiting for murder.
And so, Lieutenant Mattox, you're walking on the very spot bloody murder has held sway, and maybe you yourself will be the next victim. Several blocks away, in a dingy apartment on Euclid Street, a figure forces a rusty key into a twisted lock and steps into a dusty, stale-smelling, rain-stained room. The figure removes a yellow slicker and drops it carelessly to the floor. Trickles of rain roll down from the greasy hair and pour over the patched and faded carpet. The figure is revealed in a tattered gray shirt, dark gray pants held up by a dirty pair of red suspenders. Curiously, there is a dying pink rose stuck carefully into the first buttonhole of his shirt. Slowly, the figure reaches into the frayed pockets of the dirty gray pants. His hand withdraws a handful of lead rings. Gently, he fondles them and then slips them into a desk drawer. Then he picks up a racy picture of Martha Stewart on the cover of 20 Ways to Baste Your Holiday Bird and disappears into the bathroom.
It was easy to spot the funhouse. A huge mannequin, which bore a frightening resemblance to Melissa McCartney, was twirling and laughing at the entrance. I made my way through the doors of the funhouse arcade. At one end of the gallery, I could see a shift of light coming from beneath the door. Slowly, I walked through it. I could hear voices. Mean, angry voices. Slowly, I drew my little cold steel mini-me. Then I kicked open the door. This is the police. Hold everything.
Leave me alone. I know what I'm doing.
We gotta get out of this place, Kipnos. People have been murdered here.
I said, hold it. I'm Lieutenant Mattox, SFPD.
This is exactly why I've got to spill my guts to that copper, Mattox.
Excuse me, folks. I'm Medax, Mattox.
Oh, great. You're going to trust the cops? Have you noticed that there are 11 dead bodies floating around? Duh!
I saw an old man in a wheelchair, arguing with a skinny broad who kind of looked like a nurse. They didn't even know I had just busted down the door.
Hey, who busted down the door? You cop?
Mattox, SFPD. What's your info?
Listen, mister, this is an old man and you don't know nothing. Get me? He's as loony as a tune.
Shut your mouth, you bony freak. My name is Miklos Kipnos.
Kipnos. Where have I heard that name before?
Hey, ugly boy, you're probably thinking, where have I heard that name before? Well, I'll tell you. I'm a rich Greek fellow who owns all the land around here.
Bingo! Kipnos, the rich Greek geek who owns all the land around here.
I had these bunch of rundown apartments, so these gangsters come to Kipnos and say, Kipnos, we give you plenty of bucks if you tear down these rotten apartments and build a happy playland for everybody. Okie dokie, make us all rich. So I do it. I said, sweet. So everything's going honky-dory. We're evicting right and left. We're throwing everybody on their booties, but there was this one family from Cuba, I think. These old Cuban commies to get out and take all their commie things with them. All their commie shrines and commie papers, and especially their commie books. Only they don't go.
Man's wife was sick and couldn't be moved.
But I had to get her out. I had $2 million tied up in this deal, you betcha.
So Miklos, the big shot, hired some muscle to kick them out.
And somehow the woman, she gets thrown out of an open window, and the husband goes kooky fruity and kills himself. Very messy, meat axe.
Yeah. I've heard the sob story a million times. So what?
There's a baby boy.
A baby?
He means baby.
Don't tell Kipnos what he means to say. I took care of this BB meat axe. I sent the brat to the best orphanage in San Francisco. That was in 2005. Get me, Mattox? 2005. Now the kid is big, and I think he's taking revenge on everybody connected to Playland. Don't you see, Max Tax? This kid is a lead rings murderer.
It hit me like a musical stab from an organ. Kipnos. What's his name?
His name, Moss Toxic, is...
Mattox. My name is Mattox. M-A-T-T-T-T-T-T-O-X. Why can't you read it the way it's written? A name. I need a name. Suddenly, the lights went out. I turned down the hall as the sound of something big and heavy was rolling toward us. I pulled out my enforcer and started pumping lead. And I saw it. It was the head of Melissa McCarthy mannequin rolling down on us like a huge bowling ball, with its mouth wide open. It smashed down the room, and I saw Kipnos thrown out of his chair. The nurse was blasting against the wall, and the McCarthy's head burst into 1,000 pieces. Her tongue caught me in the forehead. I hit the floor in a wave of nausea. I started to black out. Before my eyes closed, I heard the sound of metal rings hitting the cement floor. Lead rings!
We will return to our drama after this important message from the friendly people at Signal Gasoline.
Is your fuel indicator dipping towards E? That may be your signal. Signal to fill up your car at Signal Gasoline. Premium fuel and quality service at every Signal Gasoline gas station. This ad is your signal. Signal to fill on up at Signal Gasoline.
Gasoline, gasoline, get your gas at gasoline.
Signal Gasoline is not responsible for your ability to find or not find gasoline. Sold wherever you can find gasoline.
And we're off the air.
Magnificent. Wonderful, ladies and gentlemen. Organa, that was the best performance of your career.
And her last, she's dead.
What? No, this can't be happening. It's a joke.
Then the joke is on Musso too. He's history.
Great news, everybody. The network just renewed our contracts for another season. Lance, you're a stupid lucky loser. You did it. Hey, what's wrong?
Organa Creole and Mick Musso are dead. Poor taste, Elsinore.
Lance, cut us some slack, please. I want to get out of here.
Yeah,
No, not yet.
Terrier, 3 people have died. We want out.
Not possible.
Soon it's going to be 4 bodies, Terrier. Get us out.
There's no way. It's a time lock.
He's lying. He's got a key to the emergency door at the back of the control room. It leads to the fire escape.
I don't think we can wait for midnight to arrive because the number of Just reached 5.
Hey, repeat. Get up. Stop fooling around now. Get up.
Now he thinks he's God.
I get it. I get it. A smart bomb doesn't have to land on my head. I get it. This is all a plot to bring me down. Well, it won't work. It won't work because I'm the Hummer.
He's gone nuts.
Cracked like cheap china.
Come on, game. Let's get him. We'll grab the key and get out of here.
Stay away. Get back. I, Lancelot Terrier, the Hummer, know many things because I walk by night. I say I walk by night. Damn you, Elsinore, give me an organ stab. Murder lurks behind every corner, and here's the key to the back of the control room, but nobody's gonna get it from the Hummer.
Come on. Let's rush him and get the key.
Can't have it. Can't have it.
Please, Lance, give us the key. Give it to Mama.
No, and you're not my mama. She had a mustache. I walk by night, and I know many things.
Yes, you know many things because you are the Hummer.
I am.
And you have the key to the mystery, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Where is it?
Right here.
Get him!
Stand back or I'll swallow this key.
Get him.
Dang it.
Crap.
What could be worse?
Stuck in a studio with the Lead Rings murderer. Hey, wait a minute. I'm not a murderer. It's not me.
Spill your guts, Terrier. Confess.
We all know you're the murderer.
We've got to waste him before he wastes us.
I'm innocent.
We know you're the killer.
We know the truth.
You wanted to save the show. Save your reputation.
No.
So you killed Pete, Musso, Organa.
I didn't do it.
Come clean.
I didn't do it.
We know you're the killer.
I'm not.
You wanted to save the show. Save your reputation.
That's all wrong.
You killed 15 people.
Not me.
Confess.
So what?
So murder!
Never.
Murderer.
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 Murderer!
Murderer.
Murderer.
No. No, it's not me. Coffee for me. Thank you.
We're on the air in 1 minute. What'll we do?
Finish the show.
No way.
Not a chance.
I'm on strike.
What's the point?
Because you'll never know who the murderer is until we perform it. So pick up your scripts and be the professionals that I know you are.
Oh, coffee? Thank God.
Clark, get back to the control room. We're coming back on the air. Rear shot, pick up an acting script.
Absolutely not. Have a terrible day.
I'm an actor short and I need you.
You can't have me.
I will have you.
We're on.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Lancelot Terrier speaking to you from high atop the Farquhar Communications Building in downtown San Francisco. We are presenting to you a special reality edition of The Hummer. And so, Lieutenant Mattox, you have seen the murderer. You have seen his dark form looming over you at the funhouse, delivering his message of death, a lead ring. But you're not dead, are you, Lieutenant Mattox? You are not a victim. Yet.
What's the matter, Milo? No guts?
What? Me? Guts? Yeah, I've got guts, Terrier. My head felt like the gas of Riverdance had just done an encore on my temples. My eyes started to flutter open. I rubbed the back of my neck.
Well, look who's joining the world of the living. Our own 100% flop, Lieutenant Arthur Mattox.
I opened my eyes and came face to face with one of the ugliest mugs I've ever seen. Chief Guido Gorowski, a man with all the charm of a bull gorilla with hemorrhoids.
Come on, Mr. Wise Guy, come to Papa.
Keep slapping him that way and he ought to come around in about 3 weeks.
The skirt was a hare named Elvira Thistle, the chief's personal secretary. This kid was so built that she put the S in silicone.
Come on, Botox. Flap those baby blues. You got a report coming my way, and I want to know the skinny.
What's to report? I met a couple of jokers, an old Greek geek and his nurse.
They were crushed flatter than a couple of Krispy Kremes sitting on a bus seat, like dead Mattox, wasted.
So, did you get any info before they cashed in?
The Greek was about to spill his guts when we were ambushed.
Took you by surprise, Pilgrim?
Sure, I was a little careless.
You'll have to fill out a homicide report, and I'll need 5 copies on my desk by tomorrow morning.
And you'll also have to report the loss of your heater.
I reached for my Roscoe. Nuts! It was gone.
Good work, Mattox. How many cops could actually help set up 2 victims, get himself conked on the bean, and then lose his pistol all in the same afternoon? Mattox, you're off the case.
And the lost gun will cost you $300.
You know what, Botox? You bungled this thing so bad that you're not only off the case, you're off the force. Turn in your badge. You're through, Pilgrim.
And so, Lieutenant Mattox, you failed. The murderer has won. Or has he? You still have one important lead. The murderer was an orphan who amuses himself with murder. Ladies and gentlemen, another startling event has just taken place. Startling as this may sound, a man has just entered the studio through the 10th story studio window. This is too startling for words.
Hey, you're breaking my arm!
Who the heck are you?
Who the heck wants to know?
I the heck want to know. Who are you?
Are you kidding me? Let's throw him back out the window.
What's the meaning of this? We're doing a live show here.
Yes, you're the Hummer. I'd recognize that voice anywhere. Many's the night I'd lie in my bed, clutching my pillow to my panting breast, listening, enraptured by your hypnotic resonance. How often I've wanted to reach out and take the radio into my arms and smother it in my pillow.
Thank you, Elsinore.
God, I hope the lid brings murder against me before I have to hear any more of this crap.
Look, it's always nice to hear from a fan, but we're in the...
When I heard that you were doing a show about me, I just had to come down here.
What do you mean a show about you?
I'm the Lettering's murderer. What the heck was that?
You the Lettering's murderer?
No, of course not.
I am, and I'm here to confess.
Let's throw him back out the window. He's got a gun.
Blast Lance first, killer. Go on.
Shut up, lady. This is my show. I did them all. I, Xavier Bushman.
Xavier?
Shut up, M-I-L-O. I was born October 31st, 1990, conceived in the back seat of a 1964 Mustang. At the age of 6 years, I confessed to the murder of Ronald C. Hamster, my next-door neighbor. He said something unkind about the position of my eyes, and I let him have it in the back of his head with a Barbie doll. The police said it was self-defense, but it wasn't. I planned it, and I enjoyed it.
Oh, God, why didn't I listen to my mother? She wanted me to be a dental assistant.
Really? So did mine.
Really? I didn't know that, Milo. Tell me.
Will you two kindly shut up? I'm in the middle of a confession here. I confess to the killing of Sheila McGluss, who was a rotten widow clerk at the Rally's Burger joint, in a mission because she kept sticking her finger in my medium-sized shake. It drove me crazy. I killed them all. I killed Red Robin, but that was really an accident. I didn't mean to drive my car through his house. And I killed my grade point average in high school with an F in Algebra 2. And I killed 3 quarts of root beer at me and Ed's Pizza Parlor in Oakland. I did it. I killed everybody on a bus once after eating 3 pounds of pinto beans and 6 cloves of garlic. It only took 1.
Don't you dare do it, Bushman. The air conditioning is offline.
And now I'm going to kill everybody in the studio in one flash.
I'm going to make the biggest mess ever seen in San Francisco because I'm going to kill myself.
Oh no, too bad.
Did he make a mess when he landed?
Nope, he landed in a garbage truck. I think he's complaining to a head of lettuce right now.
Gosh, do you think he was crazy?
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The confessed murderer just committed suicide before your very ears. And all of this brought to you by the friendly folks at Signal Gasoline, who always say, if you're out of gas, take that as a signal that you need to fill her up. And now we'll take a commercial break while we clean up the studio.
Is your fuel indicator dipping towards E? That may be your signal. Signal to fill up your car at Signal Gasoline. Premium fuel and quality service at every Signal Gasoline gas station. This ad is your signal. Signal to fill on up at Signal Gasoline.
Gasoline, gasoline, get your gas at gasoline.
Signal Gasoline is not responsible for your ability to find or not find gasoline. Sold wherever you can find gasoline.
Virginia?
I need a cup of coffee.
Me too.
Not to interrupt your coffee break, but Virginia's dead.
No.
Cold as last week's show. And this coffee, ugh.
Well, you're progressing nicely, Lance.
How many times do I have to tell you?
How you're killing us off, Terrier? What's the secret?
It's not me.
Guys, look. He's picking us off like sitting ducks. I mean, there's only one thing we can do.
Get him before he gets us.
Not in front of 100 million people, you won't.
I can fix that.
And after you kill me, what if you find out that I'm not the Lead Rings murderer? Exactly. So pick up your scripts and let's go.
And we're on.
Ladies and gentlemen, the last act of The Lead Rings Murders. So, Lieutenant Mattox, an orphanage. You flip on your computer and begin to search the list of county homes that took boys in 2005. O'Brien, Goldberg, Ching Lee.
Wasilewski. Gregor Wasilewski. Orphan. Parents George Wasilewski. Died the same year. Suicide. This had to be it. In 15 minutes, I was cruising up to a dark brick, ivy-covered building in Masonic. County home for lost souls. I walked down the hall until I found Father O'Malley's office. A small but pleasant room. The walls were covered with pictures of old-time football players, scribbled signatures, hairstyles that went out with the Beatles, laughing faces, good times, long gone.
DiMaggio, we need you. Come read.
Behind the large oak desk sat a small, wizened man wearing metal-rimmed bifocals and a black kaftan. He flashed me a carefully measured smile.
No. Sit down, me boy.
I eased myself into an old velvet chair. A small cloud of dust gently floated up as my weight settled into the pillows.
So you want to know about Excuse me. I must have dozed off there for a moment.
Excuse me, I must have dozed off there for a moment. So you want to talk about Gregor, poor boy. When he came to the shelter, he was a frightened little tyke, having seen some terrible things. Poor SOB. He never talked. He'd like to play Let's Pretend with some of the children, and sometimes he'd play doctor with them, but we put a stop to that after he started curing some of them.
I get the picture.
Oh, yes, he definitely wanted to be a cutter. Some of his impromptu operations were quite messy, but other than that, he was just like any other little boy. And he was a joker, yes, yes. He liked to put worms in the spaghetti. What a little scab. Oh, yes.
Do you know where he is today? Got an address or anything?
Maybe. Years ago, I got a Christmas card from him. Let me see. I've got it in my desk drawer. Aha! Here it is. Pretty unusual. It's a picture of Santa Claus sitting around a campfire on a snowy evening roasting one of the little reindeer. Donner, I think. Amusing, don't you think?
I grabbed the envelope and examined the return address. University Hospital. University Hospital? Of course, the little freak wants to be a doctor.
And so, Lieutenant Mattox, the search is coming to a swift conclusion.
I made my way across town. In 20 minutes, I was standing in the office of the Dean of Men at the university.
Yes, I remember Gregor. How could I forget him? He was the only student I ever took into the operating theatre to view a colonoscopy while eating Oreo biscuits and milk. Sometimes I would find him in the chapel, playing the organ.
Elsinore.
And then suddenly he dropped out of school.
Tell me, Doc, do you have an address on him?
Perhaps. The only thing we have is this. Here. I don't know if he's still living there. It was a long time ago.
Slowly, I read the address. 25 Euclid Avenue, number C.
So, Lieutenant Mattox, the search has ended. You have found the infamous Lead Rings murderer. Euclid Street, only a short distance from Playland. You find yourself standing in front of a run-down apartment. Yellowed paint peeling from termite-ridden boards. The mailboxes, A, B, C. There, on mailbox C, scribbled in a red crayon, are the words, Dr. Albert Schweitzer. A smile creeps over your face. For the first time in 10 months, you smile.
I turned the handle of the door. I stepped into the darkness of the hallway. A small red bulb gave the corridor an unreal feeling. A rubber tree plant crawling with ants stared at me from a musty corner. Slowly I walked to the end of the hall. A, B, C. I reached out for the doorknob. I could feel the presence of the kid on the other side of the door. He was waiting for me to turn the handle, waiting. The murderer was waiting for me. I pushed open the door, slowly, and there, standing in front of me, was...
I've been...
Javager? What are you doing? Sloppy gray pants, a gray shirt, held up by red suspenders. A faded pink rose placed at the first buttonhole. In his hand, a crumpled picture of Martha.
Ladies and gentlemen, the murderer, the Lead Rings killer, is standing right in front of me. But he's trapped. He can't get out of the studio. Listen carefully. His name is... His name is... And we're off the air. You did a wonderful job, kid. You're worth every buck I paid you. Nice, clean, simple. I don't know how you did it, but you have my congratulations. You just made me the hottest thing in reality entertainment. What? Me? A lead ring? No, not me. We had a deal. The coffee. Coffee.
Stupid. Only a no talent like Terrier would think that. Not the coffee. Lance and all of these selfish, self-righteous punks killed themselves with every word they spoke.
Lance was right about these mics, though. Hanging from the ribbon, a small plastic bag of cyanide poison. Every time one of these useless drones bellowed into a mic, he inhaled a little of my poison, as the little metal ribbon vibrated back and forth until it ripped the bag. They killed themselves with every word they spoke. Unless they had the good sense to wear a mask. Oh yes, these no talents literally talk themselves to death. Good night, sleep tight. And maybe it would be healthier to keep your mouths shut.